January 1st, 1863. Abraham Lincoln made the Emancipation Proclamation. It was only effective for those states in the Confederacy over which he had no authority, and did not affect slave-holding border states like Kentucky that were still a part of the Union. The Emancipation Proclamation was strategic in that it inspired a general strike of slaves to simply walk off plantations in the Confederate South. By President Lincoln taking this tack, he would keep more Union soldiers from harm while letting slaves assume the risk of freeing themselves. Enslaved black people ran on foot, took canoes, hid in wagons, and snuck aboard trains, breaking state and federal laws to escape their condition of slavery. These fugitive black people would become abolitionists and community organizers, using their liberated voices to advocate for one another. July 14, 1859. Abolitionist John G. Fee became the very first president of the Berea School in Berea, Kentucky. Later that year, the school would close as Fee and other abolitionist supporters were forced out of town by pro-slavery advocates. After the beginning of the Civil War, Fee would venture to Camp Nelson in Jessamine County, Kentucky, a Union military training site for former black slaves. Over the course of the war, he worked tirelessly, teaching freedmen to read, establishing a school and a church, inviting women and children to stay in newly built living quarters for the entire interracial population. He did this on borrowed funds. Fee and his wife Matilda went so far as to use their own land for freedmen's homes. They returned to educating black and white men and women at Berea after black soldiers began serving in the Union Army. June 19, 1865. At the close of the Civil War in April 1865, enslaved people across the South were unaware that their freedom had already been granted. When Union Army General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, he informed the community there that the only relationship they had to their former enslavers was that of hired labor. They were advised to remain where they were and to work for whatever wages they were offered. Within a year, the black community began celebrating Juneteenth as a commemoration of their emancipation and a show of the resilience of their community. Yet, their African American kinfolk to the north would not be released from slavery for 8 more months. 225,000 Kentucky slaves would not be freed until the 13th Amendment was ratified on December 18, 1865. During those final 8 months, enslaved people were still being traded, bought, and sold across the Bluegrass State. Kentucky did not formally go on the record against the institution of slavery until over a century later, in 1976. Juneteenth is a celebration of enslaved black people's tenacious resilience, their patient resistance and creative ability in subverting inhuman systems of brutal oppression, forming power from nothing, finding the joy of freedom, first within themselves, then among white allies, building schools, rebuilding families, and thriving communities.